Hello, welcome to the third episode of the Infamy Sports Podcast. We're the Infamy team, and if you haven't signed up for our weekly fantasy Fortnite tournaments, go to infamy.gg and do that. But today we're talking about grassroots esports versus more corporate organized esports. Anyone want to start
Let's
us
get
off?
it.
Beers are cracked.
Here's
All
a
right,
crack.
so hold on a second. I got beer on my fucking screen.
It's all good. All right, so prime example of corporate esports would be Fortnite. We do fantasy Fortnite, so we'll start with that. Fortnite, Epic Games throws what I think they're $5 million at their Duos FNCS tournament that's going on currently, and the community claims that they use esports to market their casual game, but my opinion is that they're very focused on competitive with the size of prize pools because no game compares. And like you said, compared to a grassroots game like Super Smash Brothers, that what was the prize pool for the most recent or the biggest tournament last year?
Probably around 40,000.
Yeah, 40,000 total
I think the
for
most
the
recent one was 25,000. Yeah.
25,000 compared to $5 million. It's like,
Yeah,
You don't
well,
know
it
what
really
not being
comes
cared
down
about
to
means.
yeah, it comes down to like the intention of like the company, like you could just want to use it as like especially earlier on, people used esports literally just as a marketing tool. Like they didn't really expect it to be really have any value on its own,
mhm,
but now the argument can be made that like maybe you do want to just have an esport for the sake of it,
mhm.
and it's just a bonus that it is a marketing ploy as well.
I feel like this is my personal opinion, but when companies try and make that game as an esport, I feel like it just never does well. I feel like all the best esports just came from unintended, just a mess of gameplay that kids just threw together and were like, "Wow, we can actually break this game," and it turns into a competitive game. From that point, like Sakurai has
Well, it's
said
almost a
that.
test of how good the game is itself. It's like
Mhm,
Smash Bros. Melee was never intended to be a super competitive game. It was like
mhm,
literally just casual, like this is a party game. But people really connected with it and were like, this game is amazing. So we wanna, and like I'm really good at this game. So let's find out who's the best Smasher in the world
mhm,
and just start organizing tournaments.
Yeah, I really think it comes down to sweat.
Hmm.
These kids were the sweatiest. They organized these tournaments, and that's how you get this grassroots, like how Smash happened. They wanted to find people that they could compete against because there was no online Smash. There's not even
mhm.
online Smash now.
Yeah, there
Barely,
isn't
Barely.
even.
barely functional.
It's
You
trash.
know?
Even for Ultimate, it's garbage. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like these that is a community where it's completely the fan made, right? Where
Yeah.
like you
Hmm.
have like Fortnite where it was like, okay, this got really big, let's throw some money. And like also too, I think nowadays you can vet what's going to be an esport or not based on like viewer count on like something like Twitch, right?
Not
They so you don't
not
think so? You don't
necessary.
think you have a
No.
captive audience and it's like, oh,
Prime
these kids are
example, Apex Legends. When Apex Legends came out, it was doing numbers. It was like the first game to pass Fortnite on as the number one game on Twitch.
Yeah, but that's
and
And
then they
because
didn't support it, and then they didn't support it. They didn't.
people
They
got
they
didn't.
paid to play that game for like I don't know, like a week.
That also, yeah.
Yeah, they
A lot of
cherry picked
people,
all the top streamers from all the other games and were like,
yeah.
but like it wasn't like the streamers were being paid to say that the game was fun. The game was fun. I played Apex Legends. The game
They
was
were.
fun. It was fun at launch. There was nothing wrong with it, but
But then they took
hey,
how many months to release something new for it? Where you have like something like Fortnite that's releasing content every single
okay,
day
that's
now.
a different topic.
But like, yeah, but
yeah,
like
that's a
that, like,
complete.
yeah, it's a completely different thing. The whole thing is you have a game. You can vet it as like a company, right? You can vet it based
Mhm,
on viewership on something like Twitch, and then you can make that into an esport versus like
mhm,
something organic like Melee, where there's no online community. There wasn't even Twitch at that time, right? Why has that stood the test of time? versus like
See,
some
that
of the
that's
Apex
a
Legends.
that's a good point that you brought up. And going back to they paid people to play it, you can fudge those numbers now. So like if a game comes out and it may not be decent or half decent esport, but you can just pay a whole bunch of streamers to play it, and according to what you said, like that would just qualify it as an esport, and that's not necessarily the case. I feel like it has to have like a general community interest, which is why I think the Smash community is so tight knit and so big, because they've been grassrootsing it since the beginning. They built the community themselves, and they're very tight knit.
Well, yeah, you have them like literally like Nintendo, please, like
Yeah.
like will you like give us some prize money or
Mhm.
anything to really like help us out? But do you think that that grassroots like sweat it out mentality has Nintendo just like why would we? You're already doing it all. Like if you are looking at it as just like a marketing bump to your game, it's just like
Mhm.
what does me raising the prize pool do? Obviously it does a lot, but like
Mhm.
is it enough for them to like really justify it to be like, you know what, you guys you've been keeping it going for years without
See,
us?
I think that goes back to the beginning of esports, like we said before, where there was no real online community for Smash, so they had to build it themselves. Now in 2020, I feel like your game has to have some kind of competitive or like esports support from the game itself, the game company itself, to have longevity in a quick
I
turning
think that's what the
Mm.
support is,
industry.
what draws a bigger like
Yeah.
players, like
Mhm.
I'm sure there's a bunch of people that play Fortnite because they see all these cash prize opportunities, and that just like
Yeah,
has
they can
them
make that a
willing to
career.
dedicate the hours, yeah, to make it a career
Mhm.
and dedicate the hours to become like a top player.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
and
it's like, what is the motivation for Smash?
To
It's really
yeah.
just within the community itself, like
Yeah.
just like
you know,
making a
also
name.
too, like you look at the Smash community, like how many people are just Melee, right? It's not even their newest title. So like, why would they ever support something when it's like a title that people don't even have, that they don't even produce that console anymore?
And let
Like,
alone
why would
have the
I? Why would I?
technology to run it. The TVs are scarce. You can barely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, and that's kind of what the problem is with like the Smash community is like, okay, they're playing an older game they can't monetize.
But
So
I'm
like,
sure I'm sure if they put prize money into Smash Ultimate, then people would transfer from Melee
I
to
don't.
Ultimate. No problem. You don't
Smash
think they
Ultimate is still like really big. Like it
Yeah,
might not have
that's
the longevity of Melee. It's impossible for it to, but like I'd still think it's the more popular of the two. It's just like Melee is just an anomaly, really. It's just like
mhm,
wow, probably because it's its own unique, like because of things like wave dashing and broken mechanics like
mhm.
that they get patched out in later games. It's its own skill set. So those people who are really good at Melee
They're
stick with it.
stuck.
Hmm.
They're
Mhm.
stuck. They don't stick with. They're stuck. Like
So
they.
there's some that cross over, but they're never as successful in
Not
Ultimate.
not nece- not necessarily stuck, because the same thing happens with Fortnite. People play Fortnite, they'll set up their keybinds on launch, and they'll just stick with them. Pro players are very stubborn about switching their keybinds, and now that the game has been out for what I want to say 3 years, I'm not exactly sure exactly how long it's been out. I'll say 3 years, but pro players are still using the keybinds that they set up when the game came out, and there's a lot more optimal keybinds, and it's just that mindset of you've been playing it for so long. Why switch?
I
Why
don't think
I
even?
that's
mean,
really an apt comparison. I think it
No.
is a completely different game almost.
Mhm,
Like obviously some of the skills transfer over between Melee and Ultimate, but just like the techniques that make you good, like at Ultimate,
mhm,
mhm.
like make you a top player in
Yeah, even
Ultimate, and even just like it isn't the same.
yeah,
mhm.
even from one iteration. Like I remember playing like the Wii U version. I
Hmm.
like the Wii U version so much more because I was way better at it. I was way better
Yeah,
at it. But they
same.
got rid of, like, you would ice skate in that game, so like it was easy to do, like you could slide a charge attack and destroy people if you were nice at that. Like in
Mhm,
Ultimate, you can't do that at all. You stop in place. So like
mhm.
Yeah, well,
completely different.
actually, like from Brawl to Smash
To
4 to Ultimate, it's like that's carried the same competitors because they've died as soon as the new game comes. But Melee
mhm.
is like a testament
Yeah,
to how it being its own thing
Hmm.
and
Mhm.
having its own community. It's stayed its own.
And I think that, like what I said before, I think that its main problem is how old it is. It's
Hmm.
just they're never going to support it because the company itself can't monetize it. So like for like a
And
healthy.
it's not, even if they throw them
Sure you
money,
can.
like how many more people they really gonna attract to it outside
But
the,
yeah, that's what I'm
the
saying. It's not
sweats?
gonna like Nintendo would like is a unique company where they're not a game company; they're a console company. They sell they sell Switches now. So if they like their mindset is gonna be, if it doesn't sell Switches, why would I do it? So
Well, that's why
But
like in that video Hungry Box one, and then he was like pleading with Nintendo, like please Sports Smash, like even if it's not Melee, he's like Ultimate, that's fine, like just
Mhm.
like put something in back into the community because they've been just completely shut out and
bro,
uninvolved because they don't need to, because that's not really going to increase Switch sales, or they have like a dedicated fan base that they're not going to really expand on too much.
just a testament to how dedicated the Smash community is. I remember, well, I got into Twitch from, I saw Smash Wii U YouTube videos, and one day I was watching YouTube videos. I believe it was Nairo. I was watching him play Zero Suit Samus, and he had a link to his Twitch account. Went to his Twitch account, found Twitch that way, was watching his Twitch stream, and somehow after a couple days watching his Twitch stream, there was a Smash documentary, and they were talking about, I believe it was Evo. I forget what year it was, but they were talking about how all these kids, they grind all year for this one tournament, and the prize pool is negligible at best because it's a community driven prize pool.
Mm-hmm.
And but these kids are still spending their whole year trying to win this one tournament, and only one of them, or maybe top three, I'm not exactly sure, but only a handful of them are getting money, but they're still like out here trying to make this work, you know? And it's like you have such a slim chance of winning this tournament and you get to getting any return for all your time for the whole year, and but they're still dedicated to it. I think a community like that deserves support from Nintendo. They've literally, they're the spine of your game.
Well, what are they giving back? Like what is
yeah,
Nintendo getting out of this?
Mm-hmm.
You get viewership. You get viewership. You
but
bring in new people,
What new
and
people?
obviously,
but like again,
I
most of it's
again,
melee.
I'm a prime example of that. I wasn't into competitive Smash. I watched a YouTube hole,
All
found
right, all
Nairo's
right.
YouTube channel, got onto Twitch. It brings in new people.
Before you continue,
Mhm.
did you buy Smash
Yes,
before?
I bought a Wii. I did buy Smash,
But that's the point, isn't it? You
but
bought
no.
Smash because it's a party game, and we were all gonna play it on the couch and just
Mm-hmm.
play the game. It didn't
Okay,
But the
matter
big
about the
but no,
benefit of
competitive scene.
esports
but
is
no.
giving
This,
it like extra years, of value.
Yeah,
It's like, wow, you don't have to make a new Smash game in 5 years like you normally would, because
mhm,
people are still competing. Like this is still in the zeitgeist. Like Ultimate will still be around, especially
and
as they're still adding more DLC.
but going back,
and two, like they're not gonna make another one. To be honest with you, maybe they will. Like, but it's
But it's
not
They
gonna
gonna be
be
will,
the
but
wild.
Sakurai
same.
says he's not gonna.
Yeah,
He doesn't
exactly.
deserve his
He's
last.
not gonna kill. He's not gonna kill himself over another game. He'll
yeah,
literally die.
yeah. Wait,
I
all right,
don't even
but
know if you need one.
just
Ultimate is like
Just keep adding
is
DLC
Ultimate.
packs. Yeah.
just expanding on what you just said, Blake, because that's a very good point. I hadn't played Smash since Smash Brawl. Hated Brawl. Online absolute dog shit.
It's
I
like
Mhm.
the
found,
one before it.
yeah, the one before it, but I literally, after I saw the Twitch streams, the YouTube videos, I went out, I did my internship for my for college for my senior project. I spent my whole paycheck on a Wii U and Smash because I watched these YouTube videos and these Twitch streams, and I was that intrigued by the game. I had not played Smash since Brawl, and I
Okay,
went out of my way to get
but
this content, but it wasn't for the party game experience. It was for me personally to play the game because I was that intrigued by the competitive community.
okay, but you not buying Smash was because you didn't want to buy a Wii U. If you had a Wii U, you would have bought Smash. And that's like
Yeah,
the
but
whole
I'm saying, but
Nintendo
my
thing
whole
is
point
the
is
hook
the
is
draw.
they make games where they make you want to buy, like Zelda fans, right? Like
Mhm.
Breath of the Wild. How many fucking consoles did that sell for them? Just that one game, right? Like they're not. It's not about the game sales. It's about the console sales. So like them as a company, they're not going to support um, that competitive scene unless it's like, all right, we're going to push consoles with it, right?
Okay,
So
but
like
my
until their competitive scene grassroots grows to the point where it's like, oh wow, that's a lot of people. Like let's jump on this money train.
Alright, I wanna take a step back to where we were before, of like, what do you guys think is like do you think you can make a popular esport just by pumping money into it, or is Fortnite successful because it was a popular game to begin with? And then you have like on the other end of the spectrum is Smash. Any of them is just like it has very limited prize money, but it has like such an established like people love this game. It's a really good game, and people are passionate about it, and they like feel a sense of accomplishment getting better at it, and like and beating and like the sense of community that comes from grassroots. So like, which end is more valuable, do you think?
I think
I
it's what your game produces organically, right? Like I think Fortnite is in a spot that it's in currently because they got that viral success, right? And now they use their esports community. They pump so much money into it. They're really giving it back to the community because it just gives their game more longevity, so they can sell more skins, right? Like
yes.
look at like Overwatch, right? Overwatch is a perfect failed example of trying to pump money into an esport, right? That like people care about it, right? And like people really like that game. But like
It's
we
more
were
like they
talking
tried to
about before.
build a whole infrastructure while Like I wonder how they would have done if they'd done a more Fortnite route where it's just like we're
That's
hosting a
Yeah.
tournament with a huge prize pool instead of having to do all this,
Yeah.
you
that's
know,
If they
I
allowed
I
third-party
groundwork.
TOs to actually host tournaments, and not where it's not just Blizzard-run events.
And you know what I think the problem is too is that they don't know how to monetize it. Like they were
yeah.
trying to monetize it, like what we were saying in our last podcast. Check that out. They were planning on filling out stadiums, right? That was their play for esports. So they pumped a whole bunch of money into it, and people just aren't that interested in it. And mostly like because what we were saying before we started recording, they aren't planning it as an. They don't build their game around it being an esport. They're just trying to make it one. Where like you have a game like Smash where it wasn't built to be one, but it's become one, right?
Mhm.
So it comes down to like three things in my mind. Game design, right? Is it designed well to be an esport, right? Is it competitive? Is it fair, right? Does it feel good to play in a competitive scene, right? Two, you need to have either some viral success like Fortnite had, or you need something like Grassroots, like Smash had, that actually gets you can get a player base from it that's rabid enough to be at that
I
upper
think you also need
echelon of
to
play where it's
acknowledge how popular Smash is on its own, like
Yes.
oh
aside from
yeah
being a competitive
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
yeah
To
So
exactly
answer
it's
it's
like
viral
to answer your question, Steve, I think both ways are there's obviously success examples for both ways, but I think that Fortnite, despite what people may think of it, a lot of people think it's a dog shit game. That's besides the point. But I think Epic Games did a very good job at capitalizing on their competitive community. They realized that their game had a competitive interest and they went with it. Yeah, they may people say they throw money at their game just to keep people hooked, but it works. It works. If you have that community and
yeah,
there's an interest, why not? Why not just throw money at
I
them,
think
you
that's
know?
almost like a fairy tale like scenario for a lot of like
Mhm,
esport. Like say you were
mhm,
like in the up and coming like Fortnite competitive community and you're like,
mhm.
oh wow, starting to get some traction, and then suddenly Epic is like also notices you, and like I feel like
like
esports
here's a whole bunch
communities
of
are so
money
It
used to
Yeah.
being
it
just like yeah, and just
it's
dump
yeah,
money at you,
it
are used to not
sells
really getting acknowledged like that.
yeah, it sells the whole fantasy that anyone can make it. And like
Mhm.
I can hop on Fortnite right now, hop in a Cash Cup or FNCS tournament, potentially win it, and now I'm a success in Fortnite.
Mhm.
You know, it's just it gives all these kids who are grinding video games, the whole esports community, everyone has a chance. You know, and I feel like that's a more community driven way to
That
or
also
a
lends
community.
itself to its game type because it's not like a limited roster on like Fortnite. Sorry, like Overwatch, CS:GO, or Siege, where there's like a set number of people who can play the game at one time.
and have to
Yeah.
and have
Yeah,
to.
that's true. That is true. But I mean, you can do it with Smash. So many of these kids have. If you go on Twitter, like Fortnite Twitter, they have their Fortnite Twitter account, their Fortnite Instagram account, their Fortnite YouTube. How many YT, TTV, IG kids are there in the Fortnite community? That's just created by the potential chance of being a success in the game, and that's just free advertising for the game. It just promotes community growth. You can't look at any pro Fortnite player's tweet without seeing hundreds of kids who have a Fortnite profile picture, Fortnite competitive, Fortnite this, Fortnite creative, Fortnite that, and it feeds the machine. And I think a
Yeah.
lot more games need to realize that competitive is no longer, with the age of online, is no longer just a side thing for your game, and it can potentially make or break your game.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
right,
if
Go
yeah, I just wonder because traditionally Nintendo has been very like we really don't care about the competitive end of Smash and everything, but Ultimate was like the first time they started to like they hosted some tournaments pre-release for press, to like
Mhm.
invited pro players, so they give them some attention. And I wonder if it does come down to like they realized early that the Switch is going to be a huge success, so they were like, okay, we can really like. It's almost like against their interests to like say like pump up Smash 4 on the Wii U because it's like,
Mhm.
okay, we're
Mhm.
gonna have a new console, and it's like all that
Mhm.
work may not transfer over.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like they were like, all right, Switch is gonna be around for a while. Let's try to get some of cash in on some of that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's 100% where they're going to go with it. It just they need to see enough numbers and they need some like test cases, right?
Mhm.
Like we talked about a
Mhm.
lot of different games so far, and none of them have come up the same way. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
look at Overwatch, right? What they're trying to replicate is StarCraft, but that's a completely different culture and way that it came up, where it came up in like internet cafes and people playing competitively in LAN parties in internet cafes, and then they just translated them into like whole stadiums, selling out whole stadiums, watching two
Mhm.
kids on a fucking laptop play StarCraft against each other.
with
Like
Overwatch, they've
they're
kind of
trying.
tried to reverse the order.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the whole thing is you need I really think that the main the through line for all these games is that viral success and
Mhm.
then taking the community that already exists and giving them some money.
Mhm.
But you know how you can replicate that viral success by offering, like,
If you
I
could
think
figure
online
that out, you
tournaments.
can make a lot of money. Don't
Yeah.
even say it, honestly.
I think. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna withhold the secrets now. I'm about to spill the beans. Online tournaments is the way to go for video games. Yeah, latency,
They're not
this, that, the
legitimate.
other.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah,
They're
they're
not
not
legitimate.
legitimate.
They're not. You don't have to throw billions of dollars at an online tournament, but just the opportunity for Jimmy down the street to hop on Smash and queue into one v
Smash
one.
especially because
Yeah,
Mhm.
Smash
But
being a
especially.
Wi-Fi warrior is like is
Every.
a joke. Like,
it's
Yeah.
yeah, but like
wow, I killed it
it's
for
the
glory. Like,
but
okay.
that's the whole thing. That's what Fortnite is going through right now. They have like the cash cups, which are online only tournaments, and they have LAN tournaments. There's they call people who are who do well in cash cups online warriors, cash cup warriors. Same thing. It's like you're not gonna do good on LAN because you can only do good online. But like there's still that community of kids who are never gonna go out to LAN events. But are you gonna alienate that audience by just only having LAN tournaments? You bring in more people. It's all about bringing as many people as possible,
Mhm.
and having an
I think
online
it works better
tournament.
for a shooter.
Yeah,
It does.
but like
Definitely.
Blake and
But
Steve, you
it
guys both play Smash. If there was a Smash tournament online, 1v1 tournament, would you guys enter?
I would enter it, but like guarantee you, I would be salty as fuck when somebody was I got a laggy match and lost, and now that counted. How many people would be up
Yeah, I
in
think they
arms and
actually
be
did
totally?
do something like that recently.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, I
that's
would
more of
lose
But
just
my
a
mind.
Smash particular instance. I'm not sure about like
No,
the
it's
other
fighting
fighting
game in
games.
general. Like it's the salt, man.
Yeah.
Got
No,
some
I know. I mean,
salt in my
I
fighting
think
No,
game.
there's
the
salt in
ultimate
every
internet is just like
competitive
trash
game.
because it's on the Switch. Where like
Mhm.
when we were playing DBZ Fighters the other day, the lag there is some lag, but like I feel it's not nearly as bad as what we had on when we were playing Ultimate.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I mean their servers are garbage.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
peer to
All
peer,
right,
right?
I believe so. I don't think there's dedicated servers.
Yeah, and
I
that's the
think
whole
it's,
thing. It's like they don't have the infrastructure to do it either, and that's why you see like
but that's what
they're
I'm
like
saying.
we
I'm saying.
don't care about you because it's like we have to build out whole infrastructure for you and tournaments and like most of you like how big is the melee scene or the ultimate scene in their countries that they operate in? Like okay, yeah, you have Nintendo of America, but like it's not their main hub, right? Like, where is most of their sales? So like you got to
I'm
think about it as a global community.
I'm just saying in today's day and age where people hate ads, I think it's better to just have and spend that money on an online tournament. You'll bring in more people. I'm not even that good at Smash, and I would probably plug in my Switch and enter a Smash online tournament if there was one available,
So
just
you're
for the
saying,
fuck of it.
so you think if like you boot up Ultimate, you load into a game, but on like one of the menus they just have like a dedicated spot saying, "Oh, upcoming open tournament." You just like you sign up. It's between 6 and 9 o'clock Friday night.
Yeah. Tournament style bracket, winner moves on. Yeah, 100%. I would play that. I mean, I'd probably get dumped on, but it would be fun and it would bring in a lot of new people. And
It would crash their servers.
all right, so all
Well,
right,
no.
in
Well, so moving on, the Smash World Tour is like they're trying to kind of find a way to be accessible because they're hosting like a circuit of tournaments all over the world. Like they have like certain ones that are wins placements were worth more. They have like different categorizations for them, but they're like all over the world. So and then they're also allowing anyone to submit they have like the three tiers. Then the third one is like the smallest one, depending on the size of it. So they're allowing any tournament organizer to uh, submit their tournament to be categorized in the Smash World Tour to like be able to earn points. So it's like kind of a way of opening it up to everyone
Mm-hmm.
instead of while keeping the legitimacy of LAN.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how they need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for that, like all these cases, they're like it's a case by case basis on a lot of these esports. They're so different,
Yeah.
and their communities are so different. So like I think that's a great idea, and that might actually work for Smash because not only from a company perspective, you can see what generates the most interest with little to no cost for you,
Mhm,
but also too it gives the people that have organized these communities some ability to actually have some say in how the tournament structure works.
mhm.
So like you
Yeah,
get so they're the ones that know best how to set this up. So like you're gonna
and
take
then
some
it's all
advice with it.
culminating. It all culminates into a final tournament where it's like the 32 people who earn the most points, they get flown out and they put up in I don't know, Vegas or something, and they just have like a final regular tournament from like to really figure out who the
Mm-hmm.
best Smash player in the world is. And it's like you had
Yeah.
enough opportunities, and it also creates those situations where top players, if they're like, "Ooh, I want to get more points," they go attend smaller tournaments
Mm-hmm.
just to rack up those points in that division.
See,
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't know they were doing that, but that like stuff like that, you need to have it like you need to cater towards your competitive community. And like I said before, in today's day and age, I feel like for your game to survive, you need to cater to that community because let's be real, with people's attention spans, no one's playing your game for as casually for I'll give it a month. That's what I noticed when Apex Legends came out. I played Apex Legends for a month and I was like, wow, no new
Yeah, and then
content.
they
I'm
didn't
done with
release
this
any
game.
content. Yeah,
But
exactly.
it was only a month, and that's not that long of a
That's
time. But the
really not a
game,
long time.
but yeah, it's not a long time at all. But like my attention span is so used to seeing content like
I don't
Overwatch
know.
releases content like every what like
3 months.
Couple months.
they're better now, but like three
Couple
months.
months.
But like the attention span that people have from getting consistent updates from games, it's
From the mobile
you got.
games and
There's a
Fortnite,
whole
yeah.
bunch of avenues for
Mhm,
that. But like as far as like a competitive scene, right?
mhm,
Or developing a competitive scene, right? Like I think if like what Nintendo's is doing actually works, that's going to
It's
be a
not.
great.
It's
It's
not Nintendo
it's
organized.
completely third party.
Yeah,
third
it's
Oh
completely third
really?
party,
Mm-hmm. They
and
have
they're
no.
like, yeah, they have like 300. It's both Melee and Ultimate, and they have like $300,000 for the final prize
I
pool in
thought.
total, and
I,
they're like looking to raise more. Is it 150? I thought
I think
it's
it's
150
250.
each. Two.
That's baller then because
Oh yeah,
now
it's like
that's even
125,000 for
better.
each.
Yeah.
That's even fucking better because like if they can create something that's profitable and Nintendo can't do anything about it, oh my god, that'd be
but
amazing.
that's
They
the
really
whole
want support.
They do.
that
Yeah, of course they do. They want some prize money. Of course they
that's the
want
whole
some
thing with
money.
like a grassroots community like Smash. Nintendo doesn't have to do anything. They just give these kids the money and they will organize it.
They're
then you have,
not giving them the money. That's the whole.
but that's what I'm
point.
saying. They're not giving them the money. But if they did, they don't. It's not like Nintendo has to go out of their way and host these tournaments, provide the center, or like built an arena. You
Yeah, but
give
are you going to
them,
get an ROI? Are you going to get a return on that investment? And the answer is probably
And once
no,
you get
because they don't know how to.
and once you get the company name on it, you want some
Yeah.
like say in things. You don't want to completely let the reins go and be like, okay, do whatever you want with our brand name, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
and then now
they
there are
could
12-year-olds
simply,
getting
like-
drunk under your name banner.
Yeah. Like during
but
the
obviously,
finals,
they would have some kind of like
Will
attachment.
they?
They wouldn't just be like, here's
then it
$500,000.
becomes the commitment.
Then yeah.
If I was them, I'd be like at the final event, like during like some way to like break up the matches, just like release the video for one of the new DLC characters, and then like people who are outside of the sweaty
Smash.
competitive scene will tune in like, oh, pay attention, we're going to release DLC character number 2 on Fighter Pass whatever at this time.
I mean, they
during
did
the
that at E3 instead.
Yeah, but this year's E3. Maybe if they actually
you can do that at-
acknowledge it,
it gives-
as like a big platform to release it, they can.
But that's what I'm saying. You have to treat this money that you're giving to your competitive scene not as like, you treat it as advertising money. Essentially, that's what it is. Like people say, Fortnite uses their competitive scene as advertising. It works. It works. Use it as advertising money. How many eyes are you going to get on the Smash World Cup?
It only is useful at a certain level. You have to have some kind of
But
viral success to be able to like actually get a return on that kind of money. Like,
but
think
that
about
will
it.
will generate viral success. The Smash World
But
Cup.
no,
Smash is still big on
it's
YouTube.
not.
Are you
It's not
kidding?
a cause and effect relationship. Everybody who had like the reason that it works for Fortnite because it was a fucking free game. Everybody had
Dude, it doesn't
also.
only work
It was already
for Fortnite.
downloaded. Yes, it
doesn't only work
does.
for-
Look
dude,
what happened
I
with
can give you a
Overwatch.
prime example. Dragon Ball Fighters averages about, I would say, less than 1,000 viewers on Twitch, and the Dragon Ball Z World Cup had over 100,000 viewers.
That one is an anomaly because it has the Dragon Ball name attached to it.
Yeah,
But Super
also.
Smash Brothers is a name on the same caliber as Dragon Ball Z, no?
By that
Maybe.
metric, it's like you get all of those names.
That's what I'm
Smash.
saying. You get like every Nintendo name in the book is in the Smash.
But
community.
okay, but at the same time, right? Like on Twitch, right? How how much money did you make off of that? Probably not as much as what your prize pool was off of just Twitch, right? There's no way to really monetize it. There's no
sponsorship.
cable network that.
Dude, you host it. You
All
host,
sponsorships.
bro. You host. You create a Smash Twitch
For
account.
your
host.
first one.
All right,
For
no,
your
this
first
is
one,
what
or
you
you're
do.
not going to get any sponsors.
You create a Smash Twitch account, you host the Smash World Cup on this Twitch account, and you run ads. How much ad money are you getting on 100, 200,000 viewers?
And then you just
Not a
have
lot.
in-game drops. There you go.
In-game drops, dude. These systems are already in place. You just need to capitalize on them.
What are you going to do an in-game drop for Smash?
Yeah.
The fucking.
You know, like yeah,
me
okay.
skin.
Some of these
Oh, a
systems
me hat?
work.
Yeah, me.
Fucking me skins. No one plays me's. There's a problem with that.
But
no one plays
you're not
them.
trying to cater to the competitive scene. You're catering to the casuals who will watch. And what the casuals use, they use me's. Now I have my Smash World Cup me outfit on, and I'm getting destroyed. But like I'm looking clean doing it. You know?
I see.
No.
Blake, I know
don't
for a
agree
fact
with
you would
that.
use the Smash World Cup Wii outfit. I don't want to hear it.
Just
Me
because
outfit.
I like using me fighter, like I'm not gonna lie, I play me fighter, but I'm a baller. It doesn't
They made him
matter.
pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But
But at the same time, it's like, all right, getting back to like the main point of this video, right? Unless they find ways to monetize these systems where it's profitable to have a ridiculous prize pool, right? Like the reason Fortnite works is because they have a highly motivated user base that spends money on their platform. So the longer that they can keep it going, the more value they have at these tournaments. The tournaments themselves don't make any money. They lose money on the tournaments. But they do make money on the skins that the people were playing with and won with. People are going to buy those skins, or it's just keeping the system going for longer. So how does that, like for a game like Super Smash Brothers, or really any fighting game, right, that's not continually releasing content on like a fighter pass system, which they're going to do. Other than that, how are you going to monetize your game? how is longevity and pouring money in like Fortnite is doing
I'm not
actually going
saying
to help
all
you
right,
out as a company? But like
I
that's where institutional money comes from, and that's the gap between like it just staying a grassroots system and something it becoming its own esport.
I'm
That's
not
the
saying
difference.
I'm not saying
But
they
that's
have
what
to
we're talking
throw
about today. Is
monumental
they
amounts
need
of money at Smash. You don't need to. You just need to host an event, have a sponsored event, even if it's $50,000. Have like a sponsored Nintendo Smash World Cup stream. People would watch that just from the name alone.
I wouldn't.
All right. Well, you're
Well, it's
different
almost
than
like they're getting more. They're
you don't watch anyone.
like Smash
I love
is
Smash.
kind of getting more and more popular than it ever has been. Really, like it was the headliner at Evo last year. If Evo happens again, it probably will be again. So it's
Mhm.
like they are on an upward trajectory. It's just like is their peak enough to catch Nintendo's attention? Really?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it comes down to the philosophy. Like again, like
Side note. So Dragon Ball Fighters, they had third party companies hosting tournaments, and Bandai Namco said no, none of that. They banned any third party tournaments from being hosted. They like copyrighted the game's name so no one can host outside Dragon Ball Z tournaments. What do you guys think about companies doing things like that?
it's their IP. They can do what they want with it.
Mhm.
But I mean, from a community standpoint, do you think that helps the community or hurts the community?
It 100% hurts your
Yeah.
community. Of course it does.
It's
You
just
literally
negative
slap
press.
them in the face.
Yeah.
You just literally just slap them in the face. But you know what? The Dragon Ball IP is a lot more valuable than just one game.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's probably the reason why they didn't want to do it like that. Like it's like okay, we don't want your fighting your tournament involved with our IP at all.
Yeah, like
Period.
so like Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Fighters, I don't think it can be at Evo. I could be wrong, but I don't think it can be at Evo because it's not a Bandai Namco hosted event. So
But
like it
but
limit.
they did they are putting on like
Yeah, they are
events,
putting
right?
they are
Like,
put they're hosting their own tournaments, but like no one
but
like
that's
Evo
almost more
can't
the
have
Blizzard.
Dragon. Yeah, they're
That's
like
like
going
more
like the
the Blizzard
Blizzard route.
approach of just like it's all us.
Mhm.
Like okay, it's cool that you're interested in this, but we are taking full control of it and not allowing any
Mhm.
outside.
But they do
Yeah, because
things like
they
Jake
want to
said,
monetize
like
everything.
the Kefla UI Goku, two new characters. Kefla came out, UI Goku's coming into the game. They at the Dragon Ball Z World Cup, they had a whole cutscene thing. They made it a whole spectacle. Like I don't know. I know Steve, you've seen Dragon Ball Super. Like how at the end of it was like the tournament theme was the tournament of power. So once the tournament was over, they had like the cutscene where they summoned the dragon and everyone. They were like everyone in the audience summoned Shenron. They summoned Shenron and
The
they
whole
like
audience going
the
ah.
whole audience was like doing the spirit bomb thing. They summoned Shenron, and then like after Shenron was summoned, they had the Kefla trailer and the UI Goku trailer, and that shit generates huge
Yeah, but
buzz for
like
your game.
also too, like you gotta think like we were talking about before.
But
The Dragon Ball Z name is huge. Like look at
but
like
I
you
think you're
think it's
underestimating the
crazy in
Smash
this
name.
state.
I think you're
Yeah,
underestimating
I'm
the Smash
not
name.
though. Like the whole thing is it's not about the name brand recognition is there, but
Mhm.
the name brand itself doesn't want to be associated with that kind of thing. They don't want to do it. So like can you get them to change their corporate culture from a grassroots perspective? Honestly, probably not. But they also don't care enough that you can't do third party things. They're like,
Mhm.
whatever, do what you want, right? Do you
Mhm.
think that they're gonna actually like if this gets big enough, do you think they're going to shut that down and then they're going to make their own, or they're just going to shut it down and be like, I don't want any of this happening
So
right now?
when it first happened for Dragon Ball Z, everyone was like, "Yo, what the fuck? You're hurting the community." But after I watched the Dragon Ball World Cup, I think what they're trying to do, and after their season 3 update where they completely balanced the game around competitive, I think what they're trying to do is they realize what the
Yeah,
attraction that their
they want to
game had.
corner their own
Yeah,
market. Yeah, I get
that's
it.
I think Dragon Ball Fighters is doing it really well. They realize like, oh, everyone likes this game. This game is competitive. Dragon Ball Fighters was, I think last year it was the first game to I think it had more it beat out Street Fighter. I forgot what the stat was, but it beat out Street Fighter as like 2D fighter some stat, but it was
Mhm.
like the first game ever to beat out Street Fighter in the 2D fighter category.
Well, I
And
think
that's
Smash is a really interesting position because it's kind of a giant advertisement for all Nintendo games in the first
exactly,
place. So it's
especially
like,
when your
why
whole
wouldn't you want to prop them all up, especially like
and
DLC
and
characters? Like,
exactly, and you don't even if this is a Nintendo sponsored stream, it doesn't have to be a Smash stream. It's a Nintendo stream. You can release whatever game you want from for the Switch. It doesn't have to be a Smash character. You can announce this game, that
Well,
game. Now you're using your
they actually
Smash.
use their
But then you'll just
Smash
be
characters to
annoying the
advertise
Smash
their new games.
Yeah, then the Smash community
yeah,
is gonna be like, oh, we're just a vessel for you.
but how
But
much
do
more
are they gonna?
amplified is the Smash DLC, which are kind of ads in their own right for like the newest one was the Fire Emblem character. It's like, okay, this is basically an in-game three houses ad for Fire Emblem. It's like, wouldn't
Yeah.
that be elevated all the more if they announced it at an event like the
Yeah, I would
Dragon Ball
agree.
Z World Cup or
Exactly.
whatever?
Like, yeah, I agree with you, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if the grassroots community wants Nintendo to notice, that's how
Mhm.
they need to present it. They
But
need to present
it's
it
a
like, this is how you monetize this. So like,
it's
let us help you do it.
it's a two-way street. Nintendo provides the prize money, the community provides the audience, and Nintendo advertises what they want. They're like, all right, we'll give you this money, but we're gonna advertise new Zelda game at this tournament. They're not gonna complain if they're getting a prize pool, you know?
Yeah, these things are happening anyway. It's just a paid
Yeah.
advertisement at that point.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
two-way street. You give your competitive community what they want, you can use that to advertise. I think Fortnite, they use their competitive community to advertise, but they don't really have that two-way street. They're just like, here's money, shut up.
Okay.
Smash has the
Let's
opportunity to be like, here's money, we want to promote this. You can
Okay.
you can do things.
But then you have to think
What
about it. Do you
about-
think they're gonna get more retention from that advertising money if they could try to go get new people who aren't already Zelda fans to come play that game versus people who already have the Switch and most likely already have the other Zelda games at the Smash event?
Fair point.
Yeah, that's most of what that's kind of what most of what my point was before, and like Jake hit it on the head. What I want to talk about now, though, is I want to talk about Clash Royale, a game where they are supporting their esports team and doing a terrible job.
Oh, horrible job.
They are trying so hard and failing so poorly.
It's dismal.
I don't think they know how. Like, they're at the start. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They just started, and they don't know what they're doing, and you
the
have
game
Like a big
is
company's
on your
grassroots
phone,
approach.
and yet you don't. It's so hard to notice that it's even happening. They have you on your phone in your app, and yet it's so difficult to know when it's on, who's in it, what perks you get from like watching it or anything. Like the whole fantasy part they had for the CRL finals back in December. Sure, I picked some random players who I don't know anything about unless like you go super sweat into like figuring out who's who. And then like at the end of it, you don't know like where you really placed against everybody who like entered it. So it's like, it's terrible.
Don't let these amateurs make fantasy esports. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Leave
Come
it
to
the pros.
Come to the pros. Like 3 bros and a sloth,
Yeah. A business sloth.
A business.
This business ain't casual.
This business isn't casual.
So that's kind of what my point is with Nintendo, is they can fail miserably at it. Like they might not know how to do it. And like, once that grassroots community can show that it's like, okay, this is already doing it on its own, let's like pick this up, and then we can.
I think what they're expecting from the Smash World Tour is to like, the first year they're not going to get Nintendo, but if they can be like, look at this, and maybe they'll get them on board.
Nintendo. Yeah, that's
and
exactly.
They're still reaching
doing
out to other people for additional prize pools as well. Like they're starting out with the 300,000 or whatever divided between Melee and Ultimate, but
they're 100% doing it the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm honestly thoroughly impressed by that.
Something
I didn't know that was happening, but that's awesome.
Something that got brought up in like I think it was MK Leo interview that I didn't think about at first, but I really like it. It's like, sure, it takes like your best performances out of like each tier, like your plat, gold, and silver. But then say you win, let's say MK Leo wins 3 plat events.
What are you talking about?
The Smash Smash World Cup.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Okay.
so they categorize the Smash World
Mhm.
Tour tournaments either by like platinum is the highest, gold, and then silver are the smaller ones, and
Mhm.
you get different
Okay.
points. They count your top like 6 in each tournament, and then the top 12 in the silver.
Yeah. The
Continue.
point is like, say you max out your points in one category. You max out plat. You just big dick plays nonstop, destroy everybody. Something that I didn't think about that I think Arda or MK Leo brought up in the interview was, no, sorry, it was with the TO organizers. Sorry, that even if like you max out your points, you can still kind of like gatekeep other top pro players. Like,
I
oh,
knew you were gonna say that.
yeah, I was like, that is fantastic. So even if like you see your boy is coming in on second, or it's like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna guarantee that he can't pass me by going to the same event he's going to and just beat him there. So he can't get more points
Dude,
than
see,
me,
Yeah,
no matter. That's a
that's
fantastic
savage.
aspect of it.
That's savage, dude. Now
and
it's
you
like
secure a higher seed. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know,
you know,
man. They just need honor. They need honor. Like
nah, dude.
sumo.
Because
Sumo
then
makes me laugh.
it adds
Sumo.
to the competitive, because now you have out of game strats where it's like, oh, this kid's insane. If I dumpster him early,
Yeah, it's all
But
about
if
the
you
mind
could
games.
dumpster him, if you
if
could dumpster him
oh,
on the
I heard you're
regular,
going
who
to this
cares?
tournament.
Huh.
yeah, but then you have the inverse where it's like, I'm a dumpster this kid, then you get reverse dumpstered, and now you're out. It's amazing, amazing. It creates storylines like, oh, your
Yeah,
boy
but
thought
I
he
think
had
that's
something. Guess what? Nothing.
but that's cool because like what we were talking about. I don't know if we were talking about in this one or the last one. Like it's the story that
Mhm.
like esports is missing.
Mhm.
Like they really need to get the story down, and I think that that's a great way of getting like grudge matches and like everything where
Mhm.
you can get the community hyped about it, and then you get a lot of viewership and a lot of press on that. Like that's how you like. I'm really hyped now to see what they can do with like a third party esports, like bring it all the way
Mhm.
from the
So
bottom.
Blake, would
Like,
you say you're gonna watch the Smash World Cup if it's on Twitch?
nah, not just because it's on Twitch, maybe
Got
not.
him.
Maybe not.
If it's on
Let's do
Twitch,
something
maybe not.
interesting now. Now I'm interested in a money perspective, not like
A viewership perspective.
yeah, I'm interested to see if they can pull off. I'm more interested to see the story of the league itself
Mhm.
versus like the individual players. You know, like I
Well, the
want to
great
see
thing
if
for
they can
them is
pull that
they
off.
get to be like whatever because it's the same thing happening. It's like a bunch of separate tournaments that they are allowing under their umbrella to like have
Mm,
their results count for their big final one in December. So it's like they're not even really doing that much. Like
Mhm.
they just have to hand select them all and keep track of the placements.
yeah, I can't wait for Smash Ultimate to come out on Infamy Fantasy Esports, so you can make fantasy teams on the whole thing.
Yeah, Smash World Cup fantasy. You know,
Sign up at
It's World
infamy.gg.
Tour.
oh, Smash World Tour fantasy
Yeah.
esports. Infamy.gg. Shameless plug.
You have to.
It's not there yet, but
It's not there yet. It's coming soon.
It's not. It's coming soon.
It's coming soon. But yeah, I think just to wrap everything up, that Grassroots initially it's a grind. You know, you have nothing. You have to go through those years that the
Mhm.
Smash community went through, where kids were just
Weeping on camera.
paying out of pocket for the chance to win $5,000, only one of them, and it's like it was an amazing thing to watch, like how dedicated these kids were, and to see how little Nintendo gave back to them, but they're still at it, and here they are now.
But
It's
at the same time, it's only that because Nintendo gave them such a good game. Like
Yeah,
they would
yeah,
not
the
be
game
doing
has
that
to be
for
fun.
any other game.
yeah, that's true.
Like
It
I think
comes
the thing that
it's
would
not even
kill
just fun.
Overwatch
It's competitive.
more than the league is just like the game might not be fun in like a few patches. You never know. So, but
mhm,
It's been its problem for the longest. It's
Yeah.
just
yeah.
no one's playing
I
it.
I think both sides have their upsides, but as you can see with Fortnite now, people complain all the time, and about like they have these giant prize pools, but the Smash community is loyal to their game, and they love it. They love
Haters,
it. Like
haters gonna hate, man.
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate.
it's not even
I think it's
haters; it
also
just shows how people can come off as ungrateful when you just throw money at them, as opposed to when you build up the whole system by yourself. I'm sure every Smash player is proud to be in the Smash World Tour and to see where the community has come. And then you have like Fortnite kids who everyone calls spoiled because they complain about these large prize pools that they're not big enough, which is a whole different topic. But
Why isn't 99th place getting any money?
Why is it-
I don't want to
Showed
have
up
to be
in
that
the
good.
lobby.
it's
Yeah,
not.
oh
It's
my
not. That's
God.
not even the argument. The argument is like 100th place, the only top 100, or it's like top 10 get. Oh, first place gets only 20K divided by 2 people. That's 10K each, and it's like, bro, the top 100 people in the finals, everyone who makes it to the finals gets paid. You know, that's like no.
Participation trophies, dude.
No, I would be salty if I'm dumpstering kids and I had to split my money. Like it's a $5 million pot and I had to split it with 100 people and I walked away with 20K.
It's more like 500 people because it's 5 weeks of. So you have a chance to win money every week, and then the finals has a larger prize pool.
I don't know.
Than
I
every
feel
other
like that's
week.
false
But-
advertising. $5
What?
million pool.
Yeah, it's $5 million
and, like, you're
over
really
5
only walking
weeks.
away 20K if you come in first. Like,
Yeah. But
I mean, they
that's
are
the
putting
thing.
out
You
that
can
money, though.
you can
The
play
thing about that, that's getting
you can
pumped back
play
into the
every
community.
week. So if it's like 10K every week, that's 50K if you come in first 5 weeks in a row, and then on top of winning the finals, you can win a shit ton of money, but it's still more than.
All right. If these kids want to know how they make money, they can look at.
Yeah, they can look into it, but I think Grassroots is good for longevity. People need to pay more attention to their small knit communities and the things that they're trying to get going in their game. If you see your game has, for anyone out there who's trying to develop a game, if you see your game has an interest or a competitive interest, just cater to it. It doesn't hurt, you know? Like it
Yeah,
doesn't have to be anything crazy.
Brawlhalla is a good
It's
example.
like-
They've fully embraced the esports scene. And,
Yeah,
you know,
because
it's
at the
slow-
end
it's a
at
slow
the end of
grind,
the
but-
day, casuals come and go, but your competitive
audience?
community,
Yeah.
your core audience and competitive community are the people who are going to be playing your game 3-4 years down the line. You know,
I think a lot of businesses look at it from like, okay, my casual audience is this big and the competitive's this big, but like you said, the smaller one that goes the longest is way better than the casual who are gonna hop on to the next game that
yeah,
because they have no deep attachment to it without
Yeah.
that element.
yeah. Moral of the story:
download that.
love your core fans. Infamy team loves our core fans. Shout out to all our boys on the Discord.
Dogs
And
vote.
Dogs vote. Pan, Clay, the homies holding it down. But
And everybody else, the casuals, give me your money.
the casuals, give me your money.
Hey, it could end up their money. You don't know.
Could end
Yeah,
up being
good.
money. But
Good.
with all that being
Cash
said,
tournaments coming soon.
with that, yeah, cash tournaments coming soon. We're the Infamy team. We have a fantasy Fortnite tournament going right now for the duos FNCS. Sign up at infamy.gg, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.